But you got these people over here talking about global warming. These guys over here are saying we're going into an ice age. My wife's freaking out. She doesn't know how to dress. I said, honey, wear the capri pants and the fur coat I got you at the swap meet, okay? You can always scale down, you know? You can always layer down.
Good afternoon. Welcome to another riveting segment of All Things Underground. I'm Tyler Jones, and I'm here with a good friend of mine, Jay McKittrick, who is a comedian, and I've had the pleasure of seeing him on many occasions. And Jay, I love the show. I love what you say, and I'm glad you're here today.
Thank you for having me in your front yard.
Yeah. This is.
I like your house, Tyler.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thanks for letting me stay here.
Yeah, it took me a long time, but finally have nice, clean grass. So, anyways,
did I mow this for you?
You might have.
Maybe last week.
How is everybody tonight, huh? Thanks for coming out. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. See, great things are happening. Great things are happening. My daughter came up to me before the show tonight. She said, Daddy, I've got a joke that you can use on stage tonight. I said, really? How wonderful. I said, tell it to me. She was, okay, hope you can laugh. I said, I will. She said, what do chimpanzees and orangutans both have in common? I said, I don't know. She says, compared to Bigfoot, they both look like kids.
With what kind of comedian are you, Jay?
I'm a country comedian. I'm a family-friendly comedian. I'm a theater and fairgrounds comedian. I'm a clean comedian. But I don't consider my material as clean as I do. I would consider it less vulgar, more appropriate, maybe less extreme.
Yeah, maybe more approachable
Yeah.
to adults and families alike.
It's adult humor, but it's designed to not be offensive for children or elderly people or what have you. Yet Uncle Louie will still find it entertaining.
Yeah.
It has an edge. It's topical. It's animated. It's lively. I just don't use the F-bomb, and I don't do grotesque things.
But how many of you have seen that new show with Gene Simmons called Family Jewels? There you go. That's a good show. My wife and I were watching that the other night, and Gene Simmons is walking around his mansion wearing pajamas, red pajamas with little embroidered stuff on the pockets. And I thought, there's something wrong with this. You know, the god of thunder and rock and roll goes to bed in pajamas. I thought they hung him upside down at night in some dungeon with women with whips and chains.
Yeah!
What's next? You know, Alice Cooper's got a teddy bear. Ozzy Osbourne goes to bed with a SpongeBob nightlight.
I think everybody has a calling. We just don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to sometimes go through a lot of life in order to figure it out. I think as a child, when I was much more open-minded, I probably could have told you that that's something that I wanted to be. I remember every joke I was ever told by my uncle and that I saw on television. Maury Amsterdam, he had told the joke at every show. I remember everything, and I used to love telling those jokes to kids and when I was growing up. But then life got the better hold of me. I went to school, studied business, became a stockbroker, an aerospace inspector, became a computer teacher for a while. I had my serious side, raising kids and what have you. But then one time during a night job, I went to work one day and I just needed a joke. And so I asked the guys I worked with, hey, do you have a joke? I don't remember any jokes. I don't know any jokes. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna come up with one. And so I wrote my first joke, and I came back and I told everybody at work what the joke was, and they laughed. And I thought, this is fun. So after that, I went out and I wrote another one, and then pretty soon it just hit me. I went, oh yes, I remember now. This is who I am. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is my calling. It's to write material, to entertain people, to give everybody a good, clean laugh.
All of a sudden he made that sound, you know, the sound I'm talking about. I said, was that you? He says, no. I said, well, what was that then? He says, well, that was the grave digger. I said, well, it sounded like grave digger, but it smells like maximum destruction to me. I saw this elderly couple walking in the park a while back. They were holding hands, talking about their lives together. It was beautiful. But then all of a sudden the man buckles over the waist, starts making all this noise. I says, honey, are you okay? Yeah. this quarter. She goes, a quarter? She goes, I thought you were having a heart attack. I thought you were dying or something. She goes, that's not even allowed to do that anymore. Unless you find at least $1. Crazy people, right? You gotta love them. Or sometimes you marry them too, don't you? Just ask my wife. I'll tell you what crazy is. Crazy is coming home from delivering pizzas when you're 39 years old, waking your wife up at 1 o'clock in the morning and saying, honey, I'm going to be a comedian. Can you imagine? My wife looked up at me and said, I think that's a great idea. I said, you do? She goes, yeah, I think you're going to be great. I said, you do? She goes, yeah. Because you're killing me right now. I mean, you're just killing me. Funniest thing I ever heard, 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be a comedian. My wife's my biggest critic. She's my best fan. She's my best friend. And somebody walked up to her one time and they said, what's it like being married to a comedian? She said, well, it's kind of like being married to an insomniac who can't keep that in a regular job. It wasn't true. It'd be really funny. Just after we got married, I thought, you know, I want to do something special for us. I thought, I'm going to get a tattoo of her name on my chest just to show her how much I love her. The tattoo guy said, I'm not going to do that. I said, why not? He said, well, that's a bad idea, buddy, bad idea. He said, what if you get in an argument? You know, you end up with a divorce or something. I thought, man, you're right. You know, he's right. So I got my father-in-law's name tattooed on my chest because I owe that guy so much money, I'm never getting rid of him. I was watching a show the other night on the Mayan calendar. They said the Mayan calendar is actually more accurate than the calendar we use in our world today. I thought, well, we may have a crummy calendar in this world, but at least we don't cut your heart out and throw your body down a pyramid for not showing up for the summer solstice party. But now we're going into 2012. Everybody's starting to freak out, aren't they? It's the end of the world! It's the end of the world! Let me tell you something, folks. The world is not going to end, and I'll tell you why. Because the credit card companies are not going to allow that kind of thing to happen. But you know, if you think about it, it's all crazy, isn't it? And if it isn't crazy, it ain't make no sense, right? It ain't make no sense. Like sponges, for instance. Folks, sponges are not appliances. You don't have to keep them for 7 years to get your money's worth out of them. You can keep them for 7 days or 7 weeks, and then get rid of them. They'll make more sponges out there. And you can have one sponge for the dishes and a different sponge for cleaning the toilet. Collect a 6-pack. Pretend you're a closet sponge hoarder. But you know, guys are the worst, aren't they? Especially bachelors. Because a bachelor will have 3 girlfriends and 1 sponge. Guys, what does that say about our loyalties? But ladies, you're at least partially at fault because you allow it to happen, don't you? The next time you go over to your boyfriend's house, pound on the door. Second he opens it up, march into his apartment and say, listen, we've gone out for 2 weeks, and I don't care about the other women, but tonight it's me or that sponge. I'm sure he'll pick you. Guys love it when you yell at them about things like sponges. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate you. Thanks for stepping up for the kids and the performing arts center.